So conventional medicine weight loss approaches pretty much fail most of the time because they put people on diets that actually don't work with our biology. They want you on a low fat, low cholesterol diet, and exercise is good. So exercise is good, but you can't out exercise a poor diet. You need fat. Actually, there's an inverse correlation. The more fat you eat, if it's the right kind of fat, not just any fat, if it's the right kind of fat, the more fat you eat, usually the less body fat you have. Fat is important for your hormones, which regulate your weight, and for your brain, and for your immune system, and for blah, blah, blah. So eating the right kinds of fat are crucial, even for your lungs to function. And some of the good fats are actually saturated. So that's really important. Also, portion control. A lot of people think if they just eat less, that'll fix it. And it drives me nuts when people say, well, if someone's overweight, they should just eat less and exercise more. That's not how it works. Some people actually have to eat more, but of the right things and the right balance to be able to lose weight. And I'm going to get to what calorie restriction does to our bodies in a little while. Diet pills, powders, and potions, those don't work. They don't fix the underlying causes. It's like trying to put a gun to your metabolism's head and say, lose weight or else. And, it's I would call a metabolically violent approach, and I don't agree with it. And also a lot of these pills, powders, and potions have synthetic chemicals that are cytotoxic. They're toxic to our cells, to our liver, to our kidneys, to our brain, they're not good for us. They don't restore health. They're just trying to kind of hack things, but they're not fixing the problem, the underlying cause. Stomach reduction surgeries. I know a couple case studies. One of you knows this person, but usually like two people that I really love a lot, one was a client, one's a friend, have had these stomach reduction surgeries, but they didn't change their lifestyle. They didn't change their mindset. And so they gained the weight back and have since developed really severe life-threatening diseases like cancer and Parkinson's. So again, you need to get to the underlying causes and not just, you're not overweight because your stomach's too big. If you've had one of those surgeries already, then, I like to help people who have them make the most of it and sidestep any of the adverse effects that can come down the road. And then liposuction. My caveat is I'm not like, you should never get liposuction. It's terrible. Like, you can get liposuction if you want. It's just not going to fix the metabolic problem that's underlying that could still lead to disease. So, if you just go skin deep, you don't get the same benefits. So the diet and weight loss industry, the mainstream industry approaches, I'm not talking about like the natural ones as much, but like just the really old school mainstream stuff. And they tend to be like calories in, calories out. So you count your calories, you restrict your calories. I'm telling you, while that actually backfires completely, and it's terrible and it's unsustainable and it's done so much harm to people's health. It's literally, I think, caused people's deaths and definitely caused horrible depression and self-esteem issues and trauma. So that's not how it works. Like, 10 okay, let's say 100 calories of sweet potato and 100 calories of white sugar and 100 calories of chicken and 100 calories of eggplant and 100 calories of lettuce are going to do completely different things in our bodies. 100 calories of coconut oil. Those are all going to do different things with, your body doesn't, say, oh, well, here's these calories. Your body is going to look at what the molecules of the food are made of. Food is information. It's not calories. And it's going to look at what the message is. You put food in your mouth, it's a message to your body. It can cause inflammation and disease and tear you down. It can provide nutrition and build you up. It can be a mix of both. So I like to help people optimize what they're eating, the information, the messages they're sending their body. There's also a lot of confusion about macronutrients. So carbs are bad, no fat's bad, no protein's good, no protein's bad. And I do help people understand the different macronutrients and how to balance them, but it's a little different for everyone. I don't agree that carbs are evil, and they're not all the same. So if you have carbs from Haagen-Dazs versus carbs from a sweet potato or a piece of fruit or dates or rice or whatever, they're going to do different things in your body. And some people go on really, if someone's severely diabetic, or, there are times when carb restriction can be useful, but you have to do it in a very particular balanced way. And if people go too low carb for too long, they can end up doing things, they can end up with hair loss, especially women end up with hair loss, insomnia and severe anxiety, bad tempers, all kinds of things that feel terrible. Fat, like I said, is super crucial, but it has to be the right kind, not canola oil, not these refined processed Crisco, these refined vegetable oils, but you want unrefined virgin cooking oils, and then also fats from, organic foods, or if you're eating animals, grass-fed or pastured animals or wild game. Those are good fats. And the bad fats are going to be the, the Western vegetable oil and the, and the grapeseed oil and the canola oil and, some of those. Oh, by the way, the American Heart Association was started by the vegetable oil industry when electricity was developed and they could no longer use vegetable oil to illuminate people's homes. They had to find a market, and that became trying to get people to eat it by demonizing animal fats and also coconut oil because it was made in other countries. So that's an interesting little factoid. And then willpower, and then guilt and shame. If you're depending on willpower to do anything to make your life better, then you're going to fail because it will exhaust you. It takes too much energy. When you move from like fear and shame and guilt and, like you have a gun to your head, you're going to wear out, you're going to be traumatized, and then you're going to start doing what I call F it eating. You say, F it, I'm not going to do this anymore. I can't take it, which is understandable. But when you're moving from love and joy and pleasure and, all the good things, then, you're moving towards something, not away from something, and that's more sustainable. And if you try to out-exercise a poor diet or imbalanced lifestyle, it's not going to work. But also, if you eat really well and don't move, that's not going to work. And if you, like Antonio said, if you don't sleep, that's not going to work. If you don't take care of yourself, you're stressed out all the time, that's not going to work. So you have to have a balanced lifestyle across the board. And so we all have what I call nurture gaps. We all have areas where I'm good on this and not so good here. And so that's why I like to, when I work one-on-one or do programs, we go through all the areas of your life and see what's working and what isn't and try to close those gaps. I also want people to understand that this whole eat for fuel, not for pleasure is BS. You are supposed to eat for pleasure. I'm going to tell you why later, but just put a pin in that. Fad diets in general, one size fits all. That doesn't work. We're all different. The same thing isn't going to work for everybody. Sorry, that was a long slide, but that's stuff I really felt was important. So even some of the kind of natural food industry weight loss approaches like carb starving, I've already addressed. Again, there can be a place for, being aware of your carbs, but it really needs to be done in a balanced way. I see on social media people, they go on these keto diets, but they're not doing it in a balanced way, and they have a lot of, terrible side effects from it. And then there's a place for a well-done fast or cleanse, but often they're poorly designed. Like, I don't like the Master Cleanse where you drink like sugar, lemonade, water with cayenne pepper. I don't feel like that doesn't support all phases of detoxification. It only kind of sort of works with phase one. And then, anyway, it's not a balanced way to fast. Juice cleanses can sometimes be a problem because you're not getting amino acids and fats. So anyway, it's just, there are ways to do it well, but I think a lot of people do it. And then, if you're doing a fast or cleanse and you just, or especially a cleanse and you feel terrible, they're like, oh, well, you're just detoxing. When you're detoxing properly, you should not feel like that. And then there are all these skinny teas and protein shakes, and I love apple cider vinegar. It's amazing. There's great ways to use apple cider vinegar, like for digestion and all kinds of stuff. But a lot of people are just, you can't eat a box of donuts and then drink apple cider vinegar and then think they're going to lose weight. And then weight loss supplements are supplements that can support body processes to restore functionality to your body that will then allow you to shed weight by restoring health. But like a lot of these weight loss supplements in and of themselves, if you don't have the big picture, you're not hitting it from all sides, it's not going to work. So that's that. Okay. So there are all these things called meta-analysis where they study many studies over many years. And they find that, almost any diet, you can lose 5 to 10% of your body weight, but then most people will gain it back and often more than they lost. So that was from a UCLA 2007 diet study analysis, and it's pretty much still the case. So yo-yo dieting makes health and weight gain worse, not better. So when you repeatedly lose and gain, like some of you were talking about, it's linked to cardiovascular disease, stroke, diabetes, altered immune function. It's also like traumatic. So, there are studies saying that, people are actually worse off having dieted than if they just never dieted in the first place. So dieting in terms of, some kind of calorie restriction or that kind of, it creates more of an imbalance, not a balance. I don't even like the word diet. You know how people say diet has the word die in it. So take that to heart. So like I said already, in most cases, people don't fail diets, diets fail people. So just know that you didn't fail, you just didn't find what worked yet. When you find what works, then it works. In my opinion, my first academic background in grad school was medical anthropology. So we looked at culture, mindset, we looked at science, we looked at politics, economics, we looked at biology, we looked at, it was, and one of the orientations you really come from is evolutionary biology, like how we evolved to live, how we evolved to eat, what have we evolved doing, and then what are we changing, and how is it impacting our biology and our mental and physical health? They're all the same to me. Our psychology, our emotions, our physiology are the same things, because your biology will create a chemistry lens through which you perceive reality, that your emotions, your thoughts, your behaviors, and then also the way you're thinking will actually change your physiology. So there's a loop there. So we're looking through this narrow lens of calories and weight and measuring inches and just diet and exercise, and we're missing this big picture of nature. We need to remember that nature is not outside of us. We are nature. Everything in existence is an extension of nature. And some things, there's certain ways we've lived and eaten that we have co-evolutionary relationships with the molecules that make up the world around us. And some things have existed for millennia, so our physiology has evolved to know what to do with it. And then we just made up a bunch of stuff in the last century that our body, it's like we're throwing too many curveballs at ourselves, and our biology can only take so much. So I like to use a metaphor of a bucket, where you can only take so much. Caroline, you like the bucket metaphor too, but your body can take about a bucket's worth. It's designed to take about a bucket's worth. Now everyone's bucket's a little different, right? Some people are a little more tolerant than others, but you have your own personal bucket, which you can actually change through your lifestyle of resilience. But once you go over, when your buckets go over, then that's when you start to break down physically, mentally, emotionally. And pain and negative emotion symptoms are just your body asking for nurture. It's not your body failing you, it's your body crying for help. I'm going to be offering a 10-week masterclass called Got Quarantine Belly, Unlock Those Pounds from Lockdown Before the Holidays. So I'm not saying you're going to lose all the weight before the holidays, but we're going to get you unstuck and moving in the right direction so you have momentum. And my goal is to put together a really small group. I do small intimate groups, like 10 people, maybe 15 max, or maybe 8 people, like a small group of people. And we're going to go through the holidays together, and we're going to support each other. And the goal is that you'll either not gain weight, or even better, most likely what will probably happen is you'll actually lose weight. So by the time January rolls around, you don't need New Year's resolutions because you already did it. You're already on your way. It's done. And so this is breaking that cultural spell, breaking that hypnosis. So it's going to go from November 1st to January 10th. So for the first week, I'm going to offer an early bird special where people get a $500 savings. And then after the 20th, October 20th, then it's going to go up $500. And then I'm happy to talk to anyone personally. Like if you're not sure if this is a fit, we can talk. You can schedule a 30-minute health strategy session. There'll be a link in the email you'll get where you can talk to me. I'm happy to talk to you about it if you're not sure, and no pressure. Like if it's not a fit, it's not a fit. I only want people to do this that really want it, and like if we're really ready and it feels good to them. I don't want to push anyone to anything.